Okay, y'all. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. Um, Today I want to talk to y'all about something that is very, very serious to me. It's very personal. It is something that had me bound for, let's say, longer than it needed to. Something that tries to creep up. Something that I just refuse to let win. So sit back, enjoy this video, and I really hope that it's liberating and that it's useful to many. Okay, y'all, so today we are talking about mental health issues. This is a hard one because mental health issues can manifest in so many different ways. There's not one, everybody's experience is so different. Everybody does not have the same experience, and everybody does not go about healing the same way or overcoming the same way. And if you do struggle with mental illness or mental issues, you know that you can be free from it for a season and then it can come right back. And so, it's really hard to talk about this issue, and it's really hard to give good advice or useful advice because, like I said, everybody's situation is so different. So starting with me, my situation was very kind of, I wouldn't say random because it wasn't random, but let's just say the time that it came, like the time that these mental issues started to manifest in my life, it was very difficult to manage. So I started having really bad anxiety attacks, really bad panic attacks the summer before I went to Howard, and it was the worst thing I have ever experienced in my life, because although I have experienced a lot of things in this life, going through things mentally just kind of like set it all off for me, because if you lose your mind, it's kind of really hard to have everything else in order because your mind is not in order. So for me, like I said, I started going through anxiety, really bad anxiety, the summer before I went to college. It got so bad to the point where I actually went to the emergency room. I had a really bad panic attack and I could not breathe. I felt like my chest was caving in. It was awful. So at the hospital, they diagnosed me with generalized anxiety disorder. And so the way they described it to me, they basically said that generalized anxiety disorder, it is a disorder where you have an onset of panic attacks and like I said, there was really nothing that I felt like could have set it off except for stress, maybe. I was getting ready to go to college. I didn't know nobody in DC, doing this college thing, first generation college student, just feeling pressured to do a lot. Working at ABC7, which is very intimidating. ABC7 Chicago is the #1 news station in Chicago. That was very intimidating to work there. Just feeling like I always had to be up to par. And so yeah, that could have contributed to it, and a lot of other stuff could have contributed to it as well. But my experience was very terrible. It lasted all the way up until like the end of my freshman year of college, and sometimes they try to come a little bit, like sometimes anxiety attacks try to creep up on me just a little bit, but not as bad as it used to be. So I got to Howard and it was terrible. I almost left Howard. I almost left Howard because of my mental well-being, my you know, just everything mentally. It was me. It wasn't, well, I'm not gonna say it wasn't Howard, but mainly it was me. The reason why I almost left Howard, I felt like I couldn't do it. I felt like I was just too out of it to complete my freshman year of college. And this was like within 2 months of me being there. I was like, I don't think I can do this. I don't think that this is for me. I think I need to be closer to home. I even talked to my mom about being closer to home, because this was like, I used to call home and cry. It was so bad, because I felt like I was losing my mind. I've always been sharp, always been smart, always been motivated, always been just very driven. And during this time, I felt none of that. I didn't feel driven. I didn't feel motivated to do anything. When I went to Howard, that was a lot of pressure. Howard is the real deal, especially when you come from being, you know, known, or from being seen, and from having all these different opportunities just come your way like in the snap of a finger. And then I go to Howard, it's like, oh, you ain't nobody. And that's how I felt when I was at Howard. Like, I felt like, oh girl, you ain't nobody. You know, people didn't really know who I was. And if you are not in college, you will soon find out. It's not even about what you know, it's about who you know. And so that was another thing, because I didn't really know anybody for real at Howard, except for the few friends that I went to Howard with, and we were all kind of like in the same boat, you know. So I didn't really know any upperclassmen to help me navigate Howard, or people in the spaces that I wanted to be in. So it's not even about what you know. Like, I had an impressive resume. Impressive. I was 18 years old, worked here, worked there, taught here, taught there, and that did not matter. And so I had a rude awakening. So it was just the pressure of just growing up, I guess, that mixed with my anxiety, that mixed with anxiety that later turned into depression and anxiety that later turned into OCD. It was a lot to deal with. So I did almost leave Howard because of my mental illness. But thankfully, thank God that I overcame that chapter of my life, because like I said, it was very, very draining. I think it's safe to say that I lost my mind. I lost my mind. Like I said, it turned into depression. It turned into OCD. I was doing things that I wasn't supposed to do. I was hanging with people I was supposed to be hanging with. I was thinking things that I wasn't supposed to think. So many demonic thoughts of suicide, thoughts of just being, you know, just shutting myself out from the world. It was a time, but I'm really like stumbling over my words, because this is really hard for me to talk about. It's really hard for me to open up about, because a lot of people don't know this about me. But for some reason, God has kept putting this on my spirit to just talk about this and to let it out, because there's strength and vulnerability. I don't know who can be liberated because of this. I don't know who can be saved because of this. I don't know who can overcome suicidal thoughts or depression because of this. So if me being vulnerable would set someone else free, then so be it. So how I got, you know, over the severe depression, the severe anxiety, the severe OCD, is number one, God. I would not be in my right mind today without seeking God, without getting to know God for myself. Because if you've watched my other video, you know that I've been in church for all my life. But it took that mental illness, and it took that experience for me to cling to God. It took that for me to seek his face. And during that time, I felt like God was so far because I was looking for peace in all the wrong places. I was looking for peace and listening to more soothing music, and I was looking for peace and burning candles, and I was looking for peace and different scents and things like that. Although that stuff did help, like different aromas, different techniques of stress relief, like journaling. But nothing liberated me for real until I started to seek God. And it's so funny how we seek peace, different things, we seek peace in different things, but we don't seek the Prince of Peace first. And so once I went to the Prince of Peace, that's where I started to heal for real. That's when I started to feel whole again. That's when I started to understand my life more again. That's when stuff started to make sense again. Because like I said, I truly believe that God allowed me to go through that situation just for me to cling closer to him. Because I was looking for God in all the wrong places. I was looking to have a relationship with God through my grandmother, my aunties, and I wasn't going to have my own relationship with God through them. That's the first thing that I had to do to get over that stage of my life, was to seek God, read my Bible, be in prayer, pray for real. Yeah, God. That's it. That's all. God. And then, like I stated before, the different scents and the different aromas really help. Like lavender is really good to help relieve stress. What else? Like different oils, rubbing different oils on your body, or using different lotions, calming scents really help, really help. Finding a new hobby like reading, writing, that helps calm your nerves, especially if you are dealing with anxiety. And from what I've heard, or from what other people have told me, anxiety is a lot of the time coupled with OCD. So if you don't know what OCD is, obsessive compulsive disorder, it's the constant, it's you doing something constantly over and over. So for me, it was constantly Googling, like, say if I had like a cold or something, I'm Google what does it mean when you have a cold in the summertime, and all this stuff pops up about all these different disorders and stuff like that. Like, that was me, like constantly doing stuff over and over and over and over and over and over again. Like, I used to Google like at least 100 times a day, and I'm not exaggerating. I used to Google symptoms at least 100 times a day. This is no exaggeration. Like, none. And I used to just constantly obsess over my fears. That's exactly what it was. Constantly obsessing over my fears. And so, and checking things and making sure things were in order just so I can feel secure. So yeah, writing really helped me kind of get out of that obsessive behavior. Writing, reading my Bible. That was another thing. Another thing that helped me was being around people who I can be vulnerable with, because keeping it all in is going to make it worse. You have to be vulnerable with somebody. Get a therapist if you don't trust people around you, or just that one friend. Accountability is important. Like, if people know that you are struggling with these different types of things, they're going to help you stay on track towards your healing. And also, last thing, what you eat is so important. Drink your water, eat your fruit, what you consume. So consuming sunlight That is very important. You have, because what you put in your body is going to affect everything in your body. And last but not least, meditating on things above. That is the last thing that has truly helped me, and it is still helping me to this day. Meditating on things above, because if you just keep your mind stayed on the things above, like godly things, there is no need to worry. There is no need to stress. There is no need to have fear. Just keep your mind stayed on the things above. Because like I said, you cannot have peace without the Prince of Peace. And his word brings you peace. His presence brings you peace. His people help usher in the peace of God. So just meditate on God. That's all I'm saying. Meditate on God. Meditate on his word. Meditate on your purpose. Meditate on his promise. Meditate on his promise. And that is what helped me get over my mental health issues. And prayer. The prayers of the righteous. I have people praying for you. That's a must. You gotta have people praying for you. So yeah. So thank you for watching this video. I hope that you all enjoy, and if you want me to expound a little bit more on this topic, just let me know. So like, comment, subscribe, and share, and watch the rest of my other videos. And we'll see you next time. Bye.